and welcome to the third lesson in this series on software. During our last lesson, we learned about application software and system software. We learned that the operating system is part of system software. It is the first piece of software to be loaded onto your computer. You will remember that the operating system allows hardware devices like printers to talk to each other. It also controls how hardware devices work. Don't you think it's remarkable that this one piece of software can control and manage so many different types of hardware devices like keyboards, printers, and monitors? Especially since most of them are probably manufactured by different companies. An operating system uses drivers to solve this problem. Drivers are used to control and manage the hardware devices. In today's lesson, we will be looking at drivers as well as utilities. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the purpose of drivers and utilities, demonstrate how utilities are used to change screen settings and screensavers. Remember, during our last lesson, we loaded an operating system and then application software onto this computer. I have now attached a printer to the computer and need to get it to work. Before any newly installed devices like printers, modems, or even screens will work, they need a piece of software called a driver.
What is a driver?
Well, a driver is a piece of software that falls into the system software category. The manufacturer of the hardware device writes the driver's software. In this case, the driver I have here comes from the manufacturer of this printer. When you buy the device, the driver is supplied either on a CD like this or on a stiffy disk. Once it is loaded, the driver will work with the operating system to make sure the device works correctly. As I mentioned, all devices ranging from the monitor to the printers to the mouse use drivers. Once the driver is loaded onto the operating system, it will help the operating system to control the device. If you have not loaded the correct driver for a specific piece of hardware, then that device will probably not work correctly. The device relies on the driver to tell the operating system how it needs to work. Let me give you some examples. Without a driver, you may not be able to use the best resolution on your color monitor, or your mouse and printer might not work. Let's look at how a driver actually works. For many reasons, all the devices that you need to connect to your computer work differently. One of the reasons is that different manufacturers have made them. Each manufacturer also produces a piece of software called a driver specific to that device. This driver has been programmed with information about how the device needs to behave and work. When the device and its correct driver are installed, the operating system will access the information about the device by communicating with the driver. When you buy a new device like this printer, the driver is normally included on a separate disk. But the manufacturers also often make the driver available for downloading from the internet.
Now, how would they do that? I thought that the driver comes with the device when you buy it.
Well, Salai, what would happen if you lost the disk or the disk was damaged? It is convenient to be able to go to the manufacturer's website and download the driver. If this facility was not available, you would have to go back to the supplier and collect a replacement disk. Downloading drivers is a free service offered by most manufacturers. When you install the driver, it is automatically stored on your computer. Some operating systems include basic drivers. This is because the manufacturer of the operating system has checked some hardware devices for compatibility with their software. The compatible device drivers are then included with the operating system when you buy it. If you install one of these compatible hardware devices on your computer, the operating system will automatically load the driver for the device. Do you remember when we were doing the installation of the operating system?
Yes.
The first part of the installation was a computer hardware check. During the installation, the operating system also does a hardware compatibility check. This check is to see what hardware you have on the computer. The operating system then checks its own list of drivers. If a device is on the list, it automatically installs the driver at the same time as the operating system is being installed. If the driver is not on the list, then you will need to install it after you have installed the operating system.
That's pretty clever. But I want to know, why does the operating system not have all the available drivers, to save us the hassle of downloading them?
Well, there are thousands, if not millions, of drivers available. Imagine how much memory space would be wasted if these millions of drivers were saved on your computer, even though you don't have the devices attached to your computer.
Now, earlier on you mentioned utility. Now, is a utility the same as a driver?
A utility is a small computer program that performs some very useful functions. For example, there are utilities to convert files from one format to another, to compress files, and also to detect and eliminate viruses. In fact, some utilities can even be used to change settings within the operating system. As new operating systems are developed, they often incorporate many of these utilities. Since we have loaded Windows on this machine, let's have a look at a few of the standard utility programs that come with a Windows operating system. Some of these standard utilities help you to maintain and organize your computer. These utilities can also assist you to change settings on the operating system. For example, you can make a computer more accessible to disabled people. You do this by using a utility called Accessibility Options. It allows you to change computer settings so that information is easier to see and read. Let's have a look at how this option helps. Let's go onto this computer and change the screen colors and fonts so that they are easier to read. From the control panel, we select the Accessibility Options utility. Now, as you can see, the accessibility utility is displayed. All we have to do is change the settings to your specific requirements. The accessibility option allows you to give a slight enlargement to everything on the screen. For example, the icons and menu headings will all be enlarged if you choose this option. Having enlarged text on the screen causes less eye strain and makes words easier to read. We can also change the cursor options. This changes the way the mouse cursor and the typing cursor look. You can change the blink rate as well, which changes the speed that the cursor will flash. And you can make the cursor wider so that it is more visible.
That was pretty easy. Are all utilities this easy to use?
Mostly, it all depends on what function you would like to perform. The important thing about a utilities is that you need to understand the function of that particular utility. Then you must be able to select the correct options so that they perform the functions you require. Often this means understanding the terminology that is used. Virus protection software also falls into the utility software category. This package over here, for example, is a utility.
It looks like application software to me. Now, how can you tell if it's application software or utility software?
By the function it performs. Remember, in lesson 2 we said that application software was needed to perform a specific task for the user, like typing letters. Well, utility programs help you to customize, maintain, and organize your computer. They can also help to perform housekeeping tasks on your computer.
Sure, sounds like housework, eh?
Actually, it's similar. Housekeeping in computer terms refers to the overall care and maintenance of the computer's hard drive. Virus protection software falls into this category because it cleans the computer's hard drive and protects it from viruses. There are many different types of utilities available. Some utilities are fun and allow you to customize your operating system, for instance by changing your desktop settings. Let's have a look at a few of these utilities. Let's go to our display properties and select desktop. have a look at the utility screen. You can change your background image here. Select one of the options, for example, Ascend from the drop-down list, then click on the Apply button. You will notice that the screen background has been changed. Another utility that is fun to use is the Screensaver utility, which is also found in Display Properties.
Now, I heard that it is important to set up a screensaver on your computer. Is that true?
Yes, it is, and let me explain why. Using a CRT monitor causes images on the screen to be created by firing electron beams onto the screen. If the same image stays on the screen for too long, there's a danger that the image will leave a permanent imprint on the screen. In addition to saving power, screensavers also help prevent this damage. Screensavers do this by providing a constantly changing image. Let's have a look at how we can change our screensaver settings. First, select the Display Properties utility and now select the Screensaver tab. Let us select the 3D pipe screensaver. If we click this preview button, we can preview the screensaver before we select it. This Wait tab allows us to select how long the computer must wait before the screensaver comes on. Let's change this to 1 minute. Now, let's select Apply, and the changes we have made are automatically selected. Let's leave the computer for 1 minute and see what happens. From this same utility, you can change the appearance of the menu options, and you can also change the settings of the display monitor. Utilities and drivers are two very important components of your computer system. Drivers tell the operating system how the device works, and utilities allow you to make changes to your system and optimize your computer performance. Now for your task. Write a paragraph explaining what drivers and utilities are and the purpose they serve. Thank you for joining us, and as always, don't forget to go to our website for more information. Till next time, goodbye.